What's up guys? This is going to be a different video. This one is going to be pretty much an about me video. It has nothing to do with crochet. This is going to be a long one. Sit back, relax, grab a project if you want. Let me first start out by talking about my hometown. So I live in Sitka, Alaska. We are one of the tourist destination points if you happen to take a cruise up here, or if you have taken a cruise here. Yeah, so this is one of the destination points. This island is a big island, and Sitka is right on the outskirts, and the rest of the island is wilderness. So just a little town, 14 miles of road, different back roads, and also different trails that lead off of the 14 miles, but mainly it's 14 miles. Also, I'm sorry for how late this is coming out. I am in the process. It is the 27th when I'm filming this portion. You can tell by my sweater. I'll be changing sweaters throughout. So when you see me in the sweater again, it's the 27th. Next week is going to be my finals week for school. Yeah, I'm just taking my time. And I'm kind of a perfectionist, so when it comes to things like this, I don't want to miss out on anything. I hope you're patient with me. But yeah, this next coming week, I'm guessing this is going to be uploaded on Monday. I'm not sure. But this next coming week, it's going to be just, me working on school as much as I can, because I think my last day is actually on the 3rd. Another thing I wanted to mention was that a lot of the videos, I will try to link them all in the description. I did find them on YouTube, and also if you're interested, I did link my other channel in the description too. You'll find the full version of some of the clips that I had taken of like nature here. That's about it. So the next clip is going to be earlier in the week, or earlier last week. Yeah, it's going to be kind of sporadic. I just keep thinking of clips to put in here and different. Okay, I'm going to stop babbling. Here we go. We're at my sister's house. Let me get a better position here. This is her view. She's not too far from where I live, just down the street. But yeah, we got reports. Sorry, a lot of cars going by right now. We got reports saying that there were bears on this island over here. They just don't want me to record right now. Was it your way of saying hi? And we got this one over here. Hi. Oh, look at him. Hi. There you go. Yeah. Say hi. Your eyes are so big.
Yeah, and then you make a noise like
And so I'm back from the gym. I went and did my back and biceps. I'm doing weight training. I've done weight training for years. So I actually started when I was in high school. I did a lot of gym activities, and the gym was my favorite subject in high school, aside from English. I loved writing. So yeah, I'm continuing weight training. I actually found a good routine. So on Mondays, I do glutes and hammies. On Tuesdays, I do back and bis. Wednesdays I try to alternate it going lower body and upper body. So lower, upper, lower, so quads. And then Thursday I take a break, but kind of a break, like kind of a rest, but I actually do abs with it too. Chest and tries on Fridays. And then Saturday and Sunday, I can't really go to the gym because I have my son. So I try to do some light workout here, maybe a full body on Saturday, and then Sunday is a rest. And then, you know, to keep accountability, I end up reporting to one of my friends in New York. He's basically doing the same thing. He's doing weight training. So we're both on the same boat. I went to go get coffee, my dessert in a cup, my caramel frappuccino. So I know it's not really coffee, but I can't really do a whole lot of caffeine after I had, I think that's 2 shots, by the way, 2 shots of caffeine in there. I already had a pre-workout this morning, so I can't go overboard with my caffeine or I just go crazy. Not really crazy, I just get sick. I was in the drive-thru and some of my fumes from my exhaust always finds a way to go into the little coffee shop. And the coffee shop is kind of like, you know, those little tiny those little tiny sheds. That's kind of what it looks like. The person that was in front of me, I guess his brakes were going bad and all of the fumes were going inside of the coffee shop, and they had to open all the windows just to air it out. But yeah, they said not to worry about what mine is because it doesn't smell as bad. I should probably get my car checked out for... Actually, I should just read the code because my check engine light is back on. I had made a video for changing out my spark plugs, which wasn't that hard at all because usually for some cars, it's spark plugs and wires, but for other cars, it's coil packs. Well, still spark plugs, but coil packs that are on top. Coil packs are pretty expensive. But I luckily didn't have to change that because they looked fine to me. But my check engine light is back on, so I need to read the code, see if it's actually my O2 sensor instead. By the way, I used to work at an automotive shop. That's kind of how I have some of this, some knowledge. I'm not a pro. I have some knowledge. But when I moved to Maryland to live with my sister, that's when I started getting more into cars. So I ended up working at Sears Automotive when they still were open. I'm not sure if they're open anymore, especially the one that I was working at. For me, I'm more hands-on. I like to be able to explain to the customer what they have to do back there and get an idea of how long it takes. So I'm not just, throwing out, times at people and not actually knowing what they're doing. Whenever they had a chance, they would pull me aside and show me like the process of anything that they're working on car-wise. So after working at Sears Automotive, I ended up taking it upon myself to work on my own car. 3.5 liter Mustang. The smaller the size of your engine, obviously it's going to be, more room in the engine bay. It was so easy to maneuver around the smaller engine. So that was pretty much my tester car for anything that went wrong. What I did end up changing in my car by myself was, it was a 98 Mustang, by the way. Spark plugs and wires. I know I did the 2 front struts because they were making noise every time I would hit a bump. They would make like the rusty springy noise. Obviously, it's not recommended to do by yourself, especially when you don't have the right tool for it because it could just spring, out of control. But I did it by myself. I also had to change out my fuel filler line gasket. I had to replace the seal that connects with like the like if you're going to get gas, you pump the fuel into the fuel filler neck line. There we go. And the actual fuel tank. Which side was it on? I think it was on my right side. So every time I would take a every time I would take a left turn, it would, if I was over half a tank, my fuel would actually leak out of the fuel tank. Anyway, so we ended up we didn't drop the tank. That's usually another step that you have to do. We ended up doing another way. So we kept the tank where it was. We actually just took out the neckline through like where you fill the tank. So we ended up leading it through that hole. And my sister was actually in the trunk because she didn't have very much leverage. And plus it was raining. So I just wanted to hurry up and get that done. It was getting dark. So I had like a little lantern and everything hooked up to under the wheel bay because I had to take the wheel out. It was actually pretty intense because I didn't know that you can actually heat that up it makes sense now, but that you can actually heat the rubber part, the seal, to make it fit better so you can actually stretch it out and fit it onto whatever you're trying to do. My fingers were straining so hard trying to get the seal over the fuel tank and then having to fit the line into the seal too. So I was just like, that had taken forever, it seemed like. But we got it done that night. It was just intense. And I know I would have had to pay an arm and a leg just to get that done. But I ended up paying, I think about like $12 for the seal over at a parts store. And then that's it. I just did all the labor. So that's one thing. And then I did another project on that car, the inner and outer tie rod. Now, I read up on it that you had to count the threads because they are connected to the wheels, the axle. I counted the threads. I had to take one of those huge monkey wrench, and since I didn't have leverage underneath my car because it was so low to the ground, I ended up hooking it up to where I needed it to be. And so I kicked it loose, and I went to my shop and, tried to get like an alignment to see if I needed one. And they were just like, well, I guess you counted the threads right because you don't need an alignment. Love working on my own car. My dad always told me if you can do it yourself, don't ask for help. Should we go with a fun one? I think we should go with a fun one. Let's go down to Hawaii here. So that's the furthest west that we've been to, or I've been there twice. The first time I went to Hawaii is 2007 in December. And so right after I graduated, it was my graduation gift. We went to Oahu, and I was able to choose. I didn't know this at the time. I was looking at brochures because, back then I was so into like collecting all the brochures for no reason at all. I just thought they were pretty cool, all the information in them. I was able to pick where we were going for like tours and stuff. My sister ended up coming too, so it was a whole family ordeal. So what I chose for the first day, and I didn't know, I kind of chose two. I was just like, oh, I want to go here. I want to do the Pearl Harbor for my first one. And for my second choice, it was a luau. But before you even get to the luau, you had like two destination points, which was the macadamia nut farm and the Dole Plantation. Oh, right. We went to North Shore too. Anyway, so Pearl Harbor was nice because my dad was our personal guide since he toured the USS Missouri when he was in the Coast Guard. That was his training point. So he was asking me, how do you go down this? And he was pointing at the stairs/ladder. It's as steep as a ladder, but it has railing like stairs. I went down there frontwise, leading my hands forward and then going down that way, kind of like, you're skipping stairs going down, if that makes sense. He was just like, yeah, that's pretty much what, we used to do in training too, or on the boat. There's not really a right way or a wrong way. It was just, that's the way they actually did it. We were able to see USS Arizona, which was still leaking oil at the time. I guess they were saying that, because of how much oil it was leaking, it was just like the tears of the fallen soldiers. The next day we went to the Dole Plantation. Before we even got on the tour bus that we were on, the person that was in there that was driving, he was just like, don't you guys live here, talking to me and my sister? And we were just like, no, we're from Alaska and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, but we did tell him that, you know, we do have some Polynesian in us. And so there, he was just like, that's what it is. Polynesian is pretty much like Pacific Islander. You know, when my dad was growing up in Guam, him and one other person used to get picked on for being Polynesian and not Guamanian. And that was just a quick little tidbit right there. We went to and I do have a video, a little clip here of what the Dole Plantation is, because we ended up going again with my son.
Hands, feet, selfie sticks, and GoPros within the train at all times. In case you drop an item outside the train, please do not jump off the train to retrieve your item. Just take notice of the numbered markers along the trail. Estate Pecan Farm, run by Dole Food Company. The rich volcanic soil and excellent growing conditions in this area, combined with high-quality chocolate-making practices, have allowed Waialua Estate to become the undisputed leader and producer of the best chocolate in Hawaii. If you haven't done so already, we encourage you to visit the Waialua Estate chocolate display area inside the Dole Plantation store. Inside the Dole Plantation store. If you plan on making your way to the North Shore, turn right as you exit the parking lot and head north on Kamehameha Highway for about 10 minutes. Besides having some of the world's best beaches, you'll also find dozens of eating shops, art galleries, and restaurants. Mahalo for taking a tour on the Pineapple Express. See you again soon. Aloha.
There is a macadamia nut farm that we went to, and right behind there was like these mountains that kind of looked like Jurassic Park. And later in the tour, they were actually telling us that that was a scene. When we went through the macadamia nut farm, there were samples on each side, and just like duplicate samples, because, you know, they didn't want a huge line going through there. They wanted people to have an even flow. So we went on one side, me and my mom, and she was, you know, taking her pick on which one she wanted to buy. She didn't like the garlic ones. Those were the ones that she didn't like. And my sister loved them. So we went around to the other side, and I knew that it was duplicate. My mom didn't. She ended up going back around and, you know, choosing the right one, and then she picked up the macadamia or the garlic one again and spit it out. And she was like, why do I keep tasting this one? This is disgusting. Later, when we went back to the hotel, my mom had her macadamia nuts, and she was, you know, wanting to snack on them while we were, you know, just winding down a little bit. And she spit it back out, and she was like, these are the same ones that I don't like. And I was like, oh, that must be Michelle's. The second trip that we went on, we ended up going to Kona. My friends were renewing their vows. My son got sick with the flu. And right after he did, I got sick with the flu on the day of the renewal. But we already had an extended stay. So instead of staying in Kona, we ended up going over to Oahu.
Hawaiian Airlines. As you're getting settled, please store all your carry-ons. Your larger items should be
loud it's going to be right here.
In the overhead bin in front of you. Make sure to slide them clear for
Look,
others.
this is my view.
If you're
But yeah, we'll see you guys in a little bit. We're gonna probably go out and get something to eat. Probably gonna go out and get something to eat. So I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to say that.
I want to say that, in my opinion, I don't think Kona is like a really good place for kids. Especially with my son. Like he was so into, like, he never really liked getting his hands dirty, but he was so into like the sensory of like the sand. So whatever little sand that they had over in Kona, we ended up we did go to Oahu, and then, you know, went to the beach several times then. So we went to the barrier side of Waikiki, and we just played in the sand, and the water was waist deep on James. So yeah, he didn't mind it at all. He loved it. He loved being in the water and, you know, playing in the sand. Mainly playing in the sand. And since he is so fair-skinned, me and my sister were taking turns hovering over him so he doesn't get like burned from the sun. So, and he did have like a lot of sunscreen on, but it was just, I was getting nervous. So I just didn't want him to get burned. My son has been everywhere. He's been traveling since he was like 2 months old. If we're going down the West Coast, Washington, we have a lot of family that live there, especially on my dad's side. We go there quite often. Oregon, I've been to a lot of places in Oregon. I really want to get mangoes, dried mangoes. So that's why I'm at the store right now, and there's a lot of people here. I've been to Oregon. I can't see around this van here. Been to Oregon. And yes, what are you guys staring at? Did you know that they don't have tax there? Fun fact. And then California, I've been there several times. Different parts. I haven't been like Northern California. I've actually done an internship in San Francisco. This internship was based out of Utah. It's a chain store. So there were 2 stores, Care Aloha and Del Sol. It's just like the softest thing that you've ever touched. Stay cool, wear bamboo. Del Sol, here everything changes color in the sun. So let me just zoom in here. Everything in the store actually changes color in the sun. So like this black and white would actually be like, I don't know, I haven't seen this shirt before. But here, right here are UV lights. So you can actually test out all of the shirts, see what color they change to when you go outside. The reason why these change color is because they have a crystal that's inside. They want to say spectrum, but it's not spectrum, it's something else. Spectrochrome. They have a bunch of items in here, as you can see right here: sunglasses, apparel, water bottles, nails, like nail polish, t-shirts, blah blah blah. They have everything. So the crystal opens up, and inside the crystal is color. So that's why every time it's exposed to the sun, blooms a different color. What I've heard is a lot more vibrant when it's cold. Oh, I forgot that they still had one in Juneau. They closed the one over here down. That's how I was recruited, was the one that was here. The person that's in Utah for like recruiting different people to, you know, go to the schooling there to get certified to be a sales rep for different stores in the world. They recruited me from there because they heard that I was there for like 2 summers, I guess. And so I ended up going to Utah, doing the whole spiel, going to school there. And it wasn't that long either. I think it was like a couple days, and then you get certified. So then from there you get shipped off. I ended up going to Key West first, Key West, Florida. I lived there for a year. Made a lot of friends there. After my year in Key West, I ended up, they wanted me to go over to San Francisco. So I stayed there for 5 months. I wasn't able to go to Alcatraz. It was booked the whole time that I was there. And that was like the place that I wanted to go. I wanted to tour. And so, I mean, I've been to the San Francisco Zoo. I went to the aquarium. Here's a quick little tidbit on the aquarium. I actually learned from there about the finning, or the stop finning for the sharks. This little clip here is what I did for one of my classes. So let me know what you think.
Sharks are an important part of the ecosystem. They are the cleaners of the ocean. They mostly feed on the weak and sick, which keeps the balance of a healthy ocean. They are often looked upon as being man-eaters. This may be the reason why people are not actively saving sharks from a cruel act called shark finning. Shark finning is where sharks are brutally mishandled by removing their fins and discarding their bodies back into the water. One of the reasons why their fins are removed is to provide the main ingredient for shark fin soup. The other reason being is that their fins are worth a decent amount of monetary value that fishermen cannot resist. The sharks need our protection, for they are starting to fade away.
Now back to what I was babbling about. I was on Pier 39. That's where the store was located. So right across from the pier, that's where we were. That's where we stayed. There was a little condo for all of us girls to stay in. I found it interesting that a lot of people didn't know about different subject. Didn't know about sea lions. And there was this one person that I was just hanging out there, just eating my lunch and everything. And then there was this one person that came up and was looking over at the sea lions, just hanging out on the little pier. And she was just like, "Oh my gosh, I wonder what happened to that sea lion. It looks like it got bit or something." I was going to say something, but I mean, let them think what they want to think. But I just was kind of curious, like, what were you thinking got them? Because honestly, they're territorial. They're pretty dangerous themselves. They do that to themselves. I've seen different YouTube videos about them. I've also heard a lot of things here because we do have a lot of sea lions here. So when I was scuba diving, you had to be very aware of where they were at because, yeah, they're very curious and they're huge. They're very curious. So they will take a nibble at you if if you're there. There was one guy that actually did get his fins nibbled on, but we were trying to get his attention without without him getting nervous, but the sea lion already swam away. But he turned around, and as soon as we got up for air, that's when we told him that, there was a sea lion behind you nibbling at your fins. Did you not feel that? He didn't feel a thing. Don't quote me on this, but I believe it goes for the sea lion or the seal family. I believe it goes that leopard seals are very dangerous. Leopard seals are the ones that live in Antarctica. Then I think it would be the elephant seals would be next. Then the sea lions. And I don't know what else is after that because we don't have to worry about them up here. We only have sea lions up here. I'm big on baseball. I went to a lot of baseball games there. So we did California. Nevada, I've been there. I've actually went to Las Vegas, which is over here. But I've been to Las Vegas. So I went there when I was 8 because my sister was doing a senior project on skydiving. So we ended up going there for skydiving and we stayed there for a week or so. I didn't really like it. It's not for me. I'm not a big... Even now, I don't even think about it because I'm not a gambling person. So I'd rather not spend my money on that. Yeah, I'm more of an adrenaline person. I love anything that gets my adrenaline going. So roller coasters, yes. Oh, back to California, Disneyland, yes, I've been there. Six Flags, Universal Studios, Hollywood. Been to all that numerous times actually. So I do want to take my son there because they have that new Mario World and I think that would be fun. Nevada, let's mark off some things here. Idaho, I don't think I've been to Idaho or Montana. Wyoming, maybe in crossing. I don't know if I've ever been there. Utah, I already said I went to Sandy. I believe I was in Salt Lake City too. I think we drove there. I have a couple friends there now, so it was just like they let me stay at their house. The people that actually worked here the last summer before I ended up going to school and then getting, going to Key West, they let me stay at their house, and it was so nice. Like they had this bathroom. I guess it's tile, right? The brown tile bathroom. And they had the rain shower and 2 nozzles on each side. And I was just like, do I turn them all on? And then the person that I was staying with, she ended up leaving everything out. Like there was a towel in the bathroom along with the hair dryer on top, and then a little note that was saying your lunch is in the fridge, and there's breakfast if you want some. And then also, she gave me a number for like a cab or something to take over to my training. And I thought that was so sweet. Anyway, so Arizona, one of my aunts actually lives in Arizona. She lives in Tucson. I actually went there for NASCAR race too. I think the NASCAR race actually got rained out, so me and my friend didn't actually see it, but we had fun there. We drove there from California. I believe he was stationed in San Diego. So New Mexico, I don't know if I have. Colorado, yes, I've been to Denver. North Dakota, South Dakota, no, I haven't been to any of those. Nebraska, I do have a friend there. Kansas, yes. Yeah, a little bit of Kansas. I don't really remember what we were there for. Oklahoma, yes, I did AIT in Fort Sill. Texas, I was stationed there. I was stationed in Fort Hood. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. Killeen is where it is. Center, I think it's Central Texas, right? So I've been to different places in Texas. I went to Austin, Houston, San Antonio, Arlington. I know that's all over the place. I'm not even going in order there. I went to El Paso because one of my Army buddies, he was stationed on that side. And for the longest time, I didn't realize that he was just that close. Well, close as in the same state. He wasn't close at all. It was hours away. But, I mean, I like the drive. I don't mind it. And driving is not that bad to me. Living on this island, flying to places, that's a different story about all the places that I've been to. I lived in Texas for 3 years. Louisiana, drove through there. I actually haven't been there. I do want to go to, what's it called? It's on the top of my, I don't know why I want to say Baton Rouge. It's not Baton Rouge. It's, Arkansas. Yes. I've driven through there lots of times. Every time I've driven through there, it's like a flood warning pretty much, because it's just like rain nonstop. You can't see anything in front of you. Missouri. Have I been there? No. Iowa and Minnesota. I've been to Minneapolis, but yeah, that's about it. Iowa, no. Wisconsin, I don't know if I've been there. I don't think so. Illinois, yes. I went to, that's where the pageant was, the international pageant. Chicago, Illinois is where it was at, actually. Let me tell you about that. Let me go back in time. So my mom had put me in pageants when I was real young. So I'm not real young, maybe 8. I don't know. I don't remember. But I was Miss Sitka 2004. And then 2005, I was Miss Teen Alaska International. And then I ended up traveling to Chicago for the international pageant, which had 54 girls, 52, 54, one of those. It was international, so that's why there's so much. We had to do like signings in different areas. We had to go to the zoo. I don't remember what the zoo was called, but we did go to a zoo. And then we went to the Sears Tower. We went to a mall. I can't remember what the mall was called. But then we went to a pier. I'm sure if somebody knows, they will tell me, or I can look it up. But we went to a pier. I did have my birthday there when we were doing like a dance routine. We were practicing our dance routine. They had us all sit down just to, go over the spiel for what's to come next and, all that. Then the guy that was doing all of the singing, he ended up singing Happy Birthday after his spiel. And I was just like, wow, this isn't even part of it. And I was happy that they actually remembered, but I wasn't even thinking about it. And then there was this, our choreographer was waiting outside and he even said happy birthday to me too. And I'll put that picture here if I have it. That was a fun experience. So I ranked 20 out of 52, 54 girls. The interview counts for the majority of your points. I think it was like 40%. I'm guessing they really liked mine because I actually knew about it. My mom had diabetes type 2, so that's pretty much what my platform was and what I would do to prevent it. I did thank my mom for that because it was just like it brought me out of my shell. I used to be really shy in school, so then, just being in pageants actually got me out of that shell because it made me think of how many people actually are similar or have the similar traits as I do, that, not all of them are stuck up. And I don't want to say that any of them at the pageant was stuck up. I'm not saying that. For these girls, they were so open. They were so friendly. It was just like, yeah, I connected with them. The picture that I showed you, by the way, is like some of the girls that I actually connected with more, tagged along with throughout the whole process or throughout the whole experience. Going from that, Michigan, no, Indianapolis, I think I've been there. Well, I know that I've been in Indianapolis, but is that in Indiana? I think so. Kentucky, no, but I've been to Tennessee. Tennessee was my favorite place to go. Like, that's where the Smoky Mountains are. And I ended up staying at like 5 different cabins, obviously different times, but 5 different cabins. The first time I actually spent the night in the cabin by myself, it was like 5 days. I ended up driving from Maryland. I lived in Maryland at the time, so I drove from Maryland to Tennessee, and I originally was going there for a concert. some of the experiences that I had. I forget what you even call that. What is that spot called that you can stand right by the stage? There is a certain name for that. I love country music, by the way. So that's why I went. That's why I felt like that was my area to be. That's where I belonged. Because I feel like Alaskans are pretty much rednecks, but we just call ourselves Alaskan. So Tennessee, I've been to Nashville. I think that's where the concert was at, if I remember correctly. The first night that I actually stayed at the cabin, I was watching a scary movie. And then obviously I'm by myself. So I was watching a scary movie and then I, cut it off, went to sleep, heard some scratching noises, but really didn't think of it at the time. So then the next morning I went outside and I was just like, okay, I'm planning my day because there's all these, vouchers for one person goes for free. The second person goes for this much, but I'm by myself and I feel like these are for lovebirds. I don't have a lovebird. So I was planning my day. I went out to the hot tub and I heard some rustling under the porch and there was a raccoon that scurried away. And I was like, okay, that explains the scratching. I did end up using one voucher, which was for zip lining. I don't have a picture of me going zip lining. I wish I did, but I loved every minute of it. I was the one that would always go last. The guy that was actually our tour guide, he knew that I didn't mind heights. There was a couple people that actually did, and they went in front of me. So he wanted them to go first, and then for me, he wanted me to go last so then he can actually swing me as hard as he could. And I didn't mind it because sometimes they were just like, you can let go if you want. I was like, okay. The time that I was leaving, I ended up packing my stuff from the cabin and then went out to Bristol because there was a race going on. So I was like, I am not going to miss that. So Bristol, I ended up getting a hat for my dad because he loved the toilet bowl. That's what they call it. He loved that track. It was so awesome. Like, I was so happy to have gone to that race. I'll put a clip right here. It's kind of embarrassing. Not the first part, but just what I filmed after. So here it is.
We're here on behalf of Nationwide. We're going to kick some ass today. Enjoy the race, folks.
Have fun today. You got know when to hold up, know when to walk away, know when to run.
So I was so starstruck with Peyton Manning being there that it was just like, oh my gosh, my two favorite people are here. But Peyton Manning, after he retired, he came here, waving. And then I realized that I wasn't even videoing the truck that he was in. So stupid. I was starstruck. Anyway, let's move on. Yeah, so the other times that I've been to Tennessee, I actually went with my sister, and later in the years I went with my son. So the time that I went with my son, I had food in the car that I was going to go back out and get. It was in a cooler, so it's sealed, but that doesn't deter the bears. They have a high sense of smell. So I went out, or I was about to go out, but then I saw, I thought it was somebody walking at first, but then it came around and it was a bear. So the black bear actually came down this, it kind of looked like stairs, but it was just a wall. So he came down, he went in front of the cabin, sniffed the grill, and I was like, I didn't even check that to see if it was clean. And then he went towards my car, but then I sounded the alarm to my car, and he didn't budge. He wasn't afraid of that. So I'm just like, oh great, these bears are used to humans. So as soon as he went further away or, you know, to where I couldn't see him, there wasn't a whole lot of windows that I can actually, you know, monitor where he went. So I had my sister on the line just to, you know, have her talk as loud as she can and just have me go out, get the food, come back in. The only reason why I had food was because James was a little younger, so he needed his snacks. And plus, we did a road trip to Tennessee from Maryland. That was our last experience there. But let's see. I haven't been to Mississippi. I've been to Alabama. I don't know what for. Georgia, yes. I went to Atlanta for a race. Still living in Maryland, so I drove from Maryland to Georgia. But yeah, Atlanta was pretty interesting. The track is big. The stands are huge. I love sitting in the front row because, you know, the experience. Plus, it's cheaper. But I had to go up, not in the nosebleeds. I could still see, but just, you know, I had to go further up in the stands to actually watch this race. So let me go up first. So Maine, I really want to go to. I want to experience. Let's see, I haven't been anywhere here. I've been to New York. My mom actually wanted to do, like, this was on her bucket list. She wanted to do the Statue of Liberty. And she also wanted to do Macy's. So we went to those two places. And yeah, that's a pretty fun experience. Like, yeah. Rhode Island I've been to because that was another place that where I used to work over in Maryland, it was based out of Rhode Island. So we would have to go there for like work trips and stuff. It was nice. I did like it. I do like anything coastal. So yeah, it was nice. New Jersey I've been to. That's actually where my sister's boyfriend is from. So yeah, we've been there a couple times. Don't ask me where. I don't remember. I'll ask him if you're really interested. Been to PA a couple times. I have been to PA. I don't mind it. I don't like it. Delaware, yes. I had to drive through there a lot and actually pick up one of my coworkers in Delaware, Wilmington. That's where it is. She lived in Wilmington. I had to pick her up from there because she didn't want to drive. She had night blindness and she couldn't really drive in the rain and she didn't want to drive through New York. So drove to her house and she wanted me to, she said that we can take her car. She had a big Explorer because I had to think of what she nicknamed it. She would call it an Exploder. Then we ended up picking up somebody else. I felt like their chauffeur. When we got to Rhode Island, I ended up fueling up one more time with all of them in there. And so I pulled up to the to the fuel pump. And I was about to get out. And that's when my friend that lived in Wilmington, she was just like, so ask him to fill it up all the way. I was like, ask who? What are you talking about? And I'm gonna be out there filling it up. So, okay. And she was like, no, isn't somebody going to come out here? I'm like, no, we're not in Delaware anymore. I guess isn't it in Delaware that they don't fuel up their own tank? Or New Jersey, one of those. Maryland, I lived in Baltimore. Actually, outside of Baltimore, just a little bit outside. It was cool. We lived there for a while. My sister actually still works in a firm that's based out of Maryland. She just works remote because she wanted to move over here, and she's one of the seniors that actually works in Maryland. Or that works at the firm. Sorry. Let's see. Virginia. Yes, I've been there. Been to a couple different places in Virginia, actually. West Virginia. No, I don't think I have. Ohio. I wanted to go there because don't they have Cedar Park? I've been to most of the Six Flags. Let me back up. I've been to most of the Six Flags that are, let's see, in New Jersey. Wasn't there one in New Jersey? It's called America something. Maryland, I've been to the one in Maryland. I think whichever one has the Superman without the sidebars and without like and it only has a lap bar. That's my favorite roller coaster. North Carolina, no, but South Carolina, yes. I did my basic training in Fort Jackson. Okay, so Florida, yes. I went to Fort Lauderdale because we needed to catch the Carnival cruise from there to the Bahamas. Me and my sister went on a Bahamas trip. I'll put some pictures in right here if I can find them. Yeah, we went to the Bahamas. We went to Fremont. And Nassau. Nassau, we actually went to Atlantis, which was my favorite spot. I loved that. My sister can vouch, saying that that was the first time she ever heard me scream on anything, because I don't do any screaming on roller coasters. I just think they're fun. The slide that I went on, it was like super steep. You couldn't see the back of it actually. So when you went down, you go through the tube of like, you know, a shark tank, and then you go into the pool. But yeah, so that was pretty fun. And then obviously I went to, I've been to Miami. I've been to Orlando. I've been to Disney World and Universal Studios. Like where the Harry Potter world, when I didn't even know the guy. So I was just like, why is everybody paying $20 for a stick? I didn't know. So don't blame me for that. I went to the Marvel area. I don't know if there's like different worlds, but yeah, so I went to Harry Potter and then I went to Marvel. Disney World, I went with my family. Daytona, I went with my family. Daytona 500 track. And that was an amazing track to go on. We actually had taken a car all the way around the track just to see how steep it was. If we would have stayed one more day in Daytona, we would have seen a race with Dale Earnhardt Sr. That wasn't the race, but that was a race. And what I mean by that, if you're not familiar with NASCAR, Dale Earnhardt Sr. did pass away on the track of the Daytona 500. He had like the faulty seatbelts. So yeah, he did pass away on the track. So Key West, went there with like 5 girls. I lucked out getting my own room. So I pushed the beds that we had in that one room together to make one big full king size bed. There's one girl that I don't even remember how we even became friends. I'll put a picture if I can find it. But she lives in Georgia. She comes down every once in a while just to, you know, spend her time there. And she works as a nurse. So she's so friendly. I was able to come back and visit her another time. And I was so surprised at how many people actually worked in the same area and remembered who I was. So it was just like, it's been 4 years. How do you remember who I am? And one person that I don't know if he still works there, but he used to work at Dirty Harry's and used to do like the juggling of the fire, you know, the bottles with the flames.
Make some noise out there for Josh.
Okay, yeah, Fury Water Adventures. This is a sailboat that you would go on. I pretty much went on there like, I think twice a month, because that's how much I loved it. And plus I was getting discounts for it because I lived there. I was a resident. So we would go on here. You get complimentary breakfast and complimentary lunch. You do get complimentary beverages like beer, but you're only allowed that if you're not going into the water. So I would always have to wait until after I'm done with my water sports to get the drink and we were headed back to the dock anyway, so it didn't really matter, and I didn't have to do anything the next day. Or not the next, I'm sorry. I didn't have to do anything for the rest of the day. So I was able to just chill. There was parasailing, snorkeling, and jet skiing. One of the guys that was in charge of the jet ski, they ended up getting a new Sea-Doo when those started becoming a thing. And so it was just like, he already knew that I knew how to operate the jet skis, and he didn't have to give me the full spiel. So what he did was just like, do you want to test out the new Sea-Doo? I was like, yes. Do you have to ask? I tested it out and it was so smooth. It's smoother than the other ones that they had there. They didn't look like this though. The one that I tested out was, this was on the other dock. That's why. This one is on the other side of the island, the Different Fury Adventure. This is strictly jet skis, on a jet ski tour. So I've been on that before, and that's fun. You tour around the island. That's really fun. I do like that. Anything water I like. And that never used to be me. I never was a water person. Like when I was younger, I used to be afraid of the water. I kind of grew out of that because in order to graduate high school, this is another fun tip. In order to graduate high school, you needed to learn how to swim. Let me check my thing here. I mean, you guys already know that I was in the Army. I was a 13 Romeo. That was my MOS, my job. I was a firefinder radar operator. Yeah, we pretty much, monitor the radars, make sure that, there wasn't anything suspicious. I was actually, like, going through the training and stuff, I was actually pretty amazed at how much this radar can actually track. It was so cool. Like, everything was color coordinated. You can actually see what it is. And yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a fun experience. I did like it. I only left because my son, I felt like my son needed more of my help, so I ended up getting out. And I didn't have anybody in Texas, like family-wise, to actually take care of him while I was working. I was active duty, so it's pretty much 24, like I was on the job 24/7. I was always theirs. So it's not like I could just take off days. Future me here, I'm tuning in just because I forgot to talk about my Dover experience. I actually ended up getting a gift from my sister a while back for my birthday gift. It was for the Dover International Raceway. It's called the Dover NASCAR Experience. I got these tickets to go to Dover, and my sister was saying that, she couldn't go with me. She has to work. So, she had me go, so she had the ticket for me, which was fine because I'm used to traveling by myself anyway. I feel like, you can take your time with whatever you want to do on your trip when you go by yourself. That's how I feel anyway. So I'll show you right here. They ask you if you know how to drive stick. And there were so many people there. I think there was like 20, 25 people there. I don't remember. It was a full classroom. So you have to do like the instruction portion. They tell you like what you have to do, the emergencies, the precautions, all that stuff. So you take that class, and then you're able to go to the racetrack. So since there were so many people there, there wasn't a whole lot of instructors. And so when they go along and ask you if you know how to drive stick, then if you do, then you don't need another person in there with you. If you don't, then that's when you get that ride along, just to help you assist, make your experience better, and enjoy. But I didn't need an assist because I knew how to drive stick. Me and my sister, when my sister was 16, she knew how to drive stick. It was kind of essential for us girls to know how to drive stick shift as soon as we get our license. Both of our parents knew how, so it was kind of just, yeah, you need to. So I went by myself, right? And so I was trying to take a selfie of myself in the fire suit that they have. And there was another person there. He was like, do you want me to take the picture for you? And so he ended up taking that picture. That's what this is. And yeah, so I didn't have any clips of the experience, but I do have pictures. I do have the certificate that says, they clocked how many miles you were going each lap. So that was the highest speed that I was going, it felt amazing because I love adrenaline, and that got my adrenaline going. At first, when I actually got into the car and started it up, you flick a switch, so then it just like, it was like, oh my gosh, I got the chills. And just because that's how much I love NASCAR, it was just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. It was like 100 degrees, by the way, and me wearing that fire suit, it was like a sweatsuit. Because I felt myself dripping inside, and it was disgusting. I'm really hoping that they wash those things, because honestly, like, I don't care who had it behind me or who had it before me. It was just, I knew I was sweating, so hopefully they washed it. You go a couple laps around. I think I went 6 laps, so I'm pretty sure I did this experience here, the 6 laps around. Okay. He's spinning me around in my chair. Can you wait a second? He didn't have school today, that's why and it's Friday. Again, Friday. Like I said, it's future me, so this is why I don't usually record when he's home. Because yeah, he goes crazy. But yeah, that was pretty much my NASCAR experience. I will switch it over to another clip. Sorry. Okay, bye. Alright, so I'm going to chime in here for a little bit. What I'm doing here is driving through Stargavin. That's one of our camping grounds at the end of the road. And I was trying to make it so that I go from one end of the road to the other, the 14 miles of road. But I wanted to take some back roads as well that don't count towards the 14 miles. Sorry, my dog's whining. But yeah, this is the campground at the end of the road, which we actually have a cabin that we rented out. You will see it here in a little bit. I hope you're not too annoyed by the wipers. I try to make it clear so that you're not just staring at raindrops on the windshield. Yeah, okay. So right where that truck is located, that's the cabin right behind it. You're going to see this off and on. I will be cutting to different clips here and there. So yeah, here's a clip of my sister taking a video of the cabin.
It's not close to me. This is where we're staying, this cabin.
Did your voice go up and down?
Yeah. There's like 150 Get the guns! He'll be in prime smoking. That's what he could be saying. Yeah. I smell something. Get the guns! That's the freezing water. No, it's just well water, I think. I guess now Dad's nursery rhymes it's gonna have to be a pail of water now. Another occasion. Can you hear James? The nose. Oh, the nose? There's nothing there. Nice. Just gonna keep repeating them.
I know you're gonna have to make all that because we are in no signal land, so you can't have that working right now.
Guess we don't have a host over here yet. Wonder if it's just gonna be that main host over on the other side. That's it.
Me again. Don't mind the little dashboard down at the right hand bottom corner. It says 2020, right? I had taken this today, which is April 25th, obviously this year. But I'm going to cut it off right here because I'm going to show you another clip that I had made. Here it is. Okay, so I brought this. Oh. We were trying to go to Whale Park, but is there anybody in here? No. We were trying to go to Whale Park, but this is the other park that's in the other direction. It's kind of weird for me to bring like a suitcase out here. Like I'm camping in the woods by myself. Hi, me again. I am playing show and tell. So this is what you would call a dress shirt. This is what I would usually put underneath my robe, but sometimes you can just use that by itself for dancing. This dress shirt is actually made by Attribution, and I bought it years ago. I think I bought it in 2008. So this next video is going to be from the Gajahin Dancers. It is a dance group that you used to be part of. It only goes from, I forget how young, but up until high school, up until you graduate high school, then, you know, you move on, you go to another dance group. So I had been a part of Gajahin for, I think my middle school and high school years. So this is back in 2008, and they had invited everybody to come up and dance with them, you know, for their exit song. And this is one of my favorite Dechlawady exit songs. Dechlawady is Killer Whale. Yeah. So here's a clip of that. Also, before we head to the clip, if you aren't interested in watching any of these other dance groups, it is on their channel, the Sea Alaska channel. Here it is right here. Celebration is, and that's where this is taking place too. This is in Juneau, Alaska. It takes place every other year. So we had it last year in 2024. So the next one is 2026. And it usually takes place in the beginning of June. Celebration is pretty much like, you know, a big congregation of cultures and dance groups coming together and celebrating the native culture. Sea Alaska hosts it. They usually have one dance group host it which means that every entrance that they do, and that's like day one, every entrance song that they do has the host dance group. And then when they do the exit, which is the last day, that's when the host dance group does an exit song. They get to choose what songs they do, and yeah, everybody sings or dances along. I actually did see my mom at the end of this video, so it was kind of interesting because she never really liked being in camera view. Let's get to the clip. This next clip is my favorite one by the Metlakatla Dancers. This is their entrance song. I love the drum beat, so here's this clip. So the beginning part of this, he announces a certain clan, and then they come out and, and dance up to the stage. This is how they enter. So the first one, he calls out the Eagles. The second one, that he calls out the Ravens. You'll hear their response. So this is the Ravens. And I also wanted to mention that whenever he raises his staff, that just warns the drummers to go to a different drum beat. When he says Iowa, that just means come here. The next people that he calls out are all the wolves. Eagle and Raven, like I had explained, I think I explained that before. Eagle and Raven are lovebirds. So eagles and the ravens are at the top of the chain. And then when you go down, it's kind of like subcategories down at the bottom. So for the wolves, they're under the eagle clan. I think they just wanted different clans to call out, so they just wanted to separate them a little bit. Let me go back and explain that. So how they dance out, how they had their arms out, that's pretty much, they're imitating who they are. So the eagles and the ravens, they had their wingspan out. For the wolves, there was one girl that actually had her, she was switching her arms out. For their stance, you go like this. And when you see them go like that, that just means that this point right here is the wolf's nose when they dance out like this. And then they can switch to either side. Killer whales. Oh yeah. So he calls out the killer whales next. And this is the sound. That's how you know, well, obviously it's their, what do you call that? Their spout. And then how they dance out is how the killer whales swim, right? So in the last video that I showed you, the one that I was in, they, whatever song that they're doing, if it has to do with killer whales, they'll have the person in that clan lead the dance group out. And sometimes they'll try to trail it behind with another killer whale, but usually they're all drummers at the end. So the exit song that we did, you can kind of see, I don't know if you actually spotted them, but when they have their arms out like this is supposed to indicate their dorsal fin. So that's, and then they move like this because they're going up out of the water, down in the water. The last group that he calls out is pretty much just the drummers. Since that was the end of their dance group, the drummers were the last to, enter in. So that's why they did the boom, boom, to indicate that that's who he's calling. Like, this is us. So then, then they lead. That's their entrance. They do a couple of songs. The exit song can be completely different. It doesn't have to be a killer whale song. None of them have to be the same unless if you're doing a series, like the canoe series. The canoe series has specific songs that you have to do in order. It pretty much tells a story. All of these songs tell a story. I'm not saying that. It's just the full canoe series has a full story in there. So you can't mix and match them. You can't tear them or take them apart. I do want to show you my moccasins. I think I lost it during the move. I already moved over here before my sister did, so I was living with her over in Maryland. So I think she packed my moccasins somewhere. I only received one. So this is spotted seal. This is sea otter. This is just a leather piece. Inside was felt. As you can see here, it's pretty worn out. And then there's more leather right here along with the leather tape. This is just the bottom side. This was made specifically for me by one of my mom's friends. And she knew back then I loved purple. But then I kind of grew out of that. This used to be my blanket when I started out. But I have danced with other blankets before. It was just my grandmother's blanket. It was kind of like, to me, it was kind of like I needed to break it in before I gave it to my grandmother. My mom actually had made all of these. And then obviously you saw my other one in this view, and this is what it looks like laid out. This is an eagle, as you can tell with the beak, how it curves like this. The ravens have straight beaks. Work on this a little bit more. My mom made this, but I was going to work on this a little bit more to put my finishing touch on it and add some teeth because I am a wolf. So these are the claws, or the paws, I mean. And I wanted it to be different. Now, you don't see the eagle like this very often. You usually see the profile of the eagle with the head straight across, like my other blanket. But this one, I wanted it to look like it was dancing. So that's why its head is down. And then this is my headband. My mom actually made this headband for me. I kind of wanted to make my own to make the danglies a different color. Yeah, so right here, these buttons I actually found. These are abalone buttons. I found them in her stash of buttons. She had a lot. This is the drum that I ended up getting. This is elk. This is elk hide. Do this. Is that too loud? So I am a drummer. I forget where I got this drumstick from. My dad actually put this on top to because it was on a dowel. I didn't like that. We don't have elk here, and I haven't seen an elk. I would like to see one. I think they're really, really beautiful. And on the front here, this is a wolf. This is our native design wolf. Everybody has, I think it's every tribe has their own wolf pattern, like how the wolf should look. But yeah, this is what my dad freehanded. He's a very good artist. And I wanted, I'm Eagle Wolf, by the way. My Tlingit clan is Eagle Wolf. I also wanted the wolf howling at the moon, if you couldn't tell what it was. Love it. So the Tlingit tribe, you can either be one of the two. You can either be under the eagle or you can be under the wolf. All of it depends on what your mother was. How you say my name is Shoat-in, and that is Women of Flint. And my son's name is Neech Dak Wugu Di Goochk, which means wolf on the beach. Fits perfect. Ooh, and then I ended up finding some fur. Not really finding, but so this is the fur that I ended up getting from one of my friends in the dance group. He does like fur trade, wolf paws. And then this right here is a tail. So I'm trying to make it so that it can be incorporated in either my blanket or my dance shirt.
Oh, I know it.
They got the walk on the way out. It's kind of like a boardwalk.
That'd be awesome. You know what to get, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, perfect, right there.
Yeah.
That's the bridge. It's cracking. It's just me. What are you doing? Come on.
I'm gonna hold that for a second.
Look at those babies.
Goodness, compared to mine.
Gosh. But what?
I said I just saw the dirt mound go poof. Still kind of hanging out.
You still gotta hang out? That's how you shoot. The scope.
Wish I had a scope.
Tried it.
Because I was just like, man, it's so high, I can't even see it.
Well, I got close
What, the
on a
red dot
couple.
was
Yeah.
That's where she got shot with the red dot.
If I knew
That's where I
the
got
red
shot.
dot was, which is elevation. One is-
Shooting lots of rounds while
one
you're all
is for
screwing around.
to go left and right, one's for elevation. So if it's shooting high, you gotta go down. I wish I had bullets for this gun. Maybe we can have a duel and see who shoots better. One on the left or
The one on the right. That one.
got it.
That one.
Which one?
I'm gonna go for that yellow.
Oh, jeez. Got it. Oh, look. Johnny.
Ew, everything's that. Oh yeah. Make sure you don't cut the rope. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter which side it is. Are you not tied up? That's why I run it back.
Johnny.
Got it. We're gonna deep six, and then usually some people, they want any, they come in here for grappling hook, and I think we got enough. These guys are gonna go spawn.
What? You're keeping this one?
No, I'm gonna
Oh, you're
clip
gonna
it, and
clip.
then we can pull it up to sea. Yeah, throw that out there. And that rope and the buoy can go in one of them buckets in the back. That way you won't have to trip over it. Everything's making the day running. I need to get, what's the depth?
165.
one's a big one.
Oh, don't tell me we got into the red snapper area.
Yes! That's a snapper? That's my favorite fish.
Oh, it's this stupid Tommy cod. Hey, you're off to the races.
No, there's Tom. He must have got home.
Ooh, that's a good view. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. No, can you not look at me? Dude.
He looked right at me. I know. Oh.
Yeah, they're feeding on something out there.
I wouldn't buy Speedy Gonzalez like, but. Yeah, we wanted to stop right in the middle of the road. Yeah.
Would you look at that?
His dad right behind us. Alright, Mitchell, we'll just put you in slow-mo. We need to get gas. Fuel. Petrol. Oh my gosh, he's got something in his mouth. Good thing he didn't drop it on the car. Our old McDonald's had a farm. I was thinking. Yeah. Look at those big dogs in the little dog park. That one doesn't even want to walk around. He's just hanging out by the fence opening.
What are these guys doing?
He's like, will you open the gate? I'm done in here.
Nowhere to run.
Yeah. He's just standing here on his phone. I'm ready to go. The other one's just laying down. Go outside later and be like, okay, it's time to go. Or maybe they don't have a yard at home. So that's why the other one's just laying down. The other one's like, let's go. Let's do something.
Do something. Yeah.
Getting old gummies. It's getting closer. It's a full-on collapse. Somebody just needs to give it a good nudge.
That would be a good she shed. That little thing that's just hanging out on that side of it. Even that. What they built right beside that suite.
Yeah.
You're gonna cough or what? I'm looking away. So going over the bridge, I just left the main part of town. Now I'm on Japonski Island. Airport is. If you ever seen the movie Proposal, we do have float planes, but we actually have regular 737 take off from here. Funny story, if you do come to visit here, if you fly over here, landing may look like you're landing in the water. That's how short our runway is. And then taking off, it kind of looks like you're just not gonna make it. So our main hospital is over on this island. I get sidetracked a lot, just letting you know right now. So if I go to side stories, I'll try to come back to what I was originally saying. My friends are used to it, so they'll just, remind me of what I was actually saying. So going back over the bridge, I'm gonna do this as fast as I can. Since I have it on like 300 speed. But over to the right, that's where my bazaar was. The Centennial Building where all the tourists actually congregate after they get off of the bus. That's the fire station on the left, police station on the right. We are at the main roundabout. Now we're headed out to Sawmill Creek. Coming up on our right, this is the elementary school, and right across the street is the grocery store, another one. We do have the State Troopers Academy to the left. And then also to the left is going to be the Raptor Center, which to the right, immediately to the right here, is Totem Park, the National Historical Park.
The post office. A little shopping strip. Then look at that house way up on the top. Oh. Yeah, look at it, this roof. Did you see the whale watching boat out there? Over there. Whale watching. Yeah, you see that whale watching boat out there? It's yonder. Oh, here we go. Oh. This little nook. You want to go here or further out?
Probably further out.
What's the matter, James? What's going on with your tablet?
He doesn't want it. He keeps handing it to me.
You want an applesauce?
Yeah. Yeah, I want an apple.
Here. I like the way that looks with the fog. Can't even see the top of the mountains. Yeah. Still a little bit of snow on the top of that one. Of Little Luffy. Yeah. We should just go boat over there and camp out on that shore right there. You see that patch?
Well, you see it?
We'll just go shimmy over there. there's any potential things gonna fall.
Sidewalk to do that.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking about that. How much energy he's exerting to go in nice smooth strides. It's got a long way to go to town. Fall in. Look like if you lived out this way.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Oh, one, he's coming over.
Well, I mean, if I zoom in, it's gonna look blurry, but
Does
yeah.
that get better?
Yeah.
We've got no tourists around looking. Nobody's looking. Oh, this is
Is it even the bigger one?
Let them walk around the road up here.
Yeah.
The bear pickers. You could come out of here looking for the bear pickers.
And then they see this guy come out.
Look how big and healthy he is.
I know, and he's used to people feeding. So it's going to go up for the bear pickers.
What do you got for me? That's not good enough.
And they're all
You guys got an apple?
they're all going to get scared and run. He's going to wonder why they're doing that.
Like, what are... That's when I do tricks.
I thought you were gonna take my picture.
No, it's just like, what are these little things? Oh, and we get from garbage cans.
A place over here that's the Fortress of the Bears. That's exactly what we were passing by when we drove out to Salmo Creek. So these are the brown bears that they have. As you can see there, they're waiting for their snack. But look at his face. I think this is where they feed them. Okay, real quick. I forgot to do my closeout. If you enjoyed this video, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. Please bear with me. I am going through my finals week next week. Today is the 25th, Friday. So sorry for the late delay too, because I know that I wanted to get this out last week, but it's kind of falling into this week because there's a lot of edits going on. So yeah, please be patient with me. I will try to get more videos out. I am recording something else in the meantime. I am trying to get that finished too. It is more crochet related. This one was just all about me type thing. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you next time.